How do I feel about abortion? First, let me say that I was supposed to be an abortion. When I got older, my mom had told me through mature conversation, not through bad conversation, just from mature, good conversation, that I was the third of two children. And after two children, my father didn't want any more children. And when they got pregnant the third time, he preferred for my mom to have an abortion. She decided not to. I want to be clear and fair. I don't blame my father or my mother for anything. And I want to show respect and love to both of them, even though I don't have much of a relationship with my father anymore. But I am mature enough and have seen enough in life that I can understand why someone would say we've had enough children and I don't want any more, et cetera, et cetera. So this is not to bash anybody. But I want to speak on this subject because, like I've said numerous times, you have an obligation to share your voice not only on fun, silly topics, but on serious ones. If not, you are part of the problem in society. And you are someone who contributes to problems and not solutions. That being said, I don't want to get off track. How do I feel about abortion? I believe, in my opinion, that abortion should be legal and people should have the right to do it. Whether or not they choose to do it is their own personal decision. But I do believe in the right of abortion. So I know some religious people and some people say, oh, it's totally wrong. You should protect life. Those same people want the death penalty. If all life is precious and if you're religious, then you believe you can sin 77 times and God still forgives you. There's grace. Even with murderers, there's grace. That's what you believe if you're in a certain faith religion. So you can't say that and at the same time say that you want the death penalty, but then at the same breath say that you don't believe abortion should be legal. So I personally believe at this time in my life that abortion should be legal. And I understand why people get it, and I can totally respect that. And it's a hard decision. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't do it. That's a personal decision. And if someone also, what needs to be touched on, we live in a society, I'm from America, we live in a society where you can unnaturally get pregnant. You can do different type of medical procedures that will give you a chance at being pregnant, even though your body has rejected pregnancy through the natural means many times. That's an unnatural conceiving of a child. So if you can unnaturally conceive a child, you should be able to unnaturally abort one, in my opinion. Now, it's a tough subject, and I understand, but I'm sharing my perspective. Now, that being said, my mom decided to have me, and I was supposed to be an abortion. So how do I feel about that? I can say about that. Well, one is it was legal for her to have an abortion. She made a decision not to. I'm thankful for my life. At the same time, if I'm being fair, I'm thankful and hopeful. I'm not suicidal. I don't, but I can understand, being in this world, it's crazy. And I'm blessed. I have all my health. I'm blessed live in a good area. I have a good job. I've all the blessings of life. That being said, I can understand why people lose it and why people don't want to live in this world anymore. I can understand why people commit suicide. Whether or not I feel some people should or shouldn't be born, again, that's a personal decision. I can't make that decision for you, but I can, and leaders should share. And if you want to be someone of substance, and people will still criticize you, people will still, be mad at you. And sometimes I criticize other people, so it's give and take. But you have to speak on different issues. If nothing else, to put it out there and to start dialogue. So I believe it should be legal. I'm thankful for my life, but I also can see why this world's so harsh that you got to be careful not to bring too many children in this world. Because it could be too much for everybody. Thankful for my mother. I'm thankful for my father. I lived a blessed childhood. And I do believe long term it was a blessing. But, I can see, the different... One is, again, I just believe it should be legal. I believe it should be an option. And I believe, we put dogs to sleep. That's taking a life. We do various things in society where we intervene in the natural course of things in our view for the overall good. I believe in the freedom of the choice of that. There is no right or wrong in one sense because, that's a personal decision. And it is between you and God. And even if you decide to get an abortion, God still loves you. I mean, and if you don't, God still loves you. I mean, I'm not going to speak for God. I am going to speak for my own opinion and my own perspective and my own personal life experience, which was I was supposed to be an abortion. My mother had the right to choose an abortion if she wants. She chose not to. And I believe that she should, and all women should continue to have the right to choose without persecution and without being shamed. I don't think people take that decision lightly. Now, should there be different restrictions around it and how many times you can get? It certainly shouldn't be used as a recurring form of birth control. After a certain point, you need to get your tubes tied, or the male needs to get the vasectomy, et cetera, et cetera. Because birth control after a certain point, if it's a recurring thing, you need to take some type of medical procedure, because there's plenty of people. And you have to have some, if you know that you aren't that person where you want any more children or it's not the right time or right thing, then you should use some type of medical interaction that prevents you from having children. But I want to be very clear and speak on the subject and speak on that for anyone going through it or for anyone who ever discusses the topic. I believe abortion should be legal. People unnaturally have babies and then they have and some of them, they have many complications. And sometimes the person is born deformed, et cetera, et cetera. Now, who's to blame there? And I'm not saying you should blame the people that tried to unnaturally conceive it. I don't want to blame anyone for anything in one sense. But I want to address the topic straight on. All right? Straight on, in my opinion, that's how I feel. And everyone has their own opinion. But at the end of the day, love and compassion out to you if you're going through that decision on whether or not to have a child. It is tough to raise a child in this world. We all know, if we're fair, that this world can be very harsh. Even the most blessed of us, which I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful. A child can be a blessing. A child can change your life for the better. And it's also a big burden and a big responsibility, if I'm being honest. There's no one answer. You always have to make that decision for you, but I believe a woman should have that right. Again, there should be different restrictions around it, and that's for debate, and that's for another video or another topic. But I just want to at least address the issue and speak on it from my perspective and personal life experience. All right? Stay inspired.